Think of one of those perfect moments where everything seems to be going right. Suddenly, for no reason, you make a clumsy mistake, stumble over your words, or find yourself in a ridiculous situation. We modern people dismiss this as bad luck or a jinx. However, according to Carl Jung, these small accidents are the laughter of one of the oldest layers of our soul, the trickster. The trickster is an uncanny force that disrupts our plans, mocks our logic, and confronts us with the reality of being human, our flaws. Today on Shadow Atlas, we will trace this figure who is both the fool and the savior of mythical worlds. For Jung, the trickster is a reflection of an absolutely undifferentiated human consciousness. Look at the trickster figure in the Winnebago Native American myths. He has no mastery even over his own body. His right hand fights his left. Jung states that this figure appears in alchemy as Mercurius, a power that changes shape, acting as both poison and medicine, deceiver and healer. The trickster has found a place even in the most serious institutions. A striking example is the Festum Stultorum, Feast of Fools, celebrated in medieval European churches. Priests would wear masks, dance dressed as women or lions, eat fatty foods at the altar, and bray like donkeys at the end of prayers. Jung argues that these traditions arose from the need to compensate for the suppressed, animalistic, and unconscious side of the soul. The brighter the light of consciousness, the darker the shadow of the trickster. These rituals were moments of shaking hands with the sacred fool within. Today, though no longer recognized as a mythical figure, the trickster continues to wander among us as part of the collective shadow. Modern man has forgotten the trickster, but the trickster has not forgotten us. Jung says that whenever we think we are perfect or try to build our lives solely on logic and rules, the trickster intervenes. Technology breaking down exactly when you need it, or tripping over your own feet, are reactions from the unconscious against the ego's excessive effort to be serious and flawless. The trickster's favorite playground is language. What we call slips of the tongue, or faux pas, are remnants of this numinous collective figure. That embarrassing slip of the tongue in front of someone you deeply respect is a momentary flash of the raw, unrefined shadow beneath your persona, social mask. The trickster mocks your assumptions about who you are. His fingerprints are on the politician's blunder, a burst of laughter in a serious meeting, or pointless technological failures. He is an agent of psychological hygiene, deflating the ego and saving us from our arrogance. When we refuse to acknowledge our internal clumsiness, we project this energy onto others, viewing them as evil or stupid. Why is the trickster so persistent? Jung believes these myths are preserved because they have a therapeutic effect. The trickster holds up a mythical mirror, reminding us of our low intellectual and moral level of yesterday. If we refuse to look into this mirror, that childish and inferior side remains unconscious and begins to pull our strings like a puppet. Being able to shake hands with him and say, "Yes, sometimes I am very foolish," is a step toward true wholeness. The trickster's greatest miracle is his eventual transformation into a savior. Jung emphasizes that when a catastrophe is consciously understood, the longing for a savior is born. Accepting the shadow and the inner fool is such a staggering experience that it leads us to the savior archetype, the higher consciousness that untangles the knots. The trickster is the initial spark that allows a dark beginning of unconsciousness to transform into light and healing. Ultimately, the trickster reminds us that we should not be perfect, but whole. The next time you trip or make a ridiculous mistake, instead of getting angry at yourself, stop and send a smile to that ancient trickster within. That error is a mythical invitation leading you to a truth about yourself you didn't yet know. As Jung said, Unconsciousness is the primary sin of mankind. The trickster is the loud laughter that wakes us from our sleep. Subscribe to Shadow Atlas and continue to explore these uncanny yet illuminating maps of the soul with us.